Uruve Goda Chanda Radhikaya Tadali Krishnaya Krishna Bhattaya Tadabhattaya Namo Namaha Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadha Shivasadi Gauda Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ramo Ramo Hare Hare. So, first of all, I offer pranams to our Gurudev, Vishnupad Sri Srimad Bhaktivedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj. Also our Rupanunga Guru Varga, all Vaishnavas and Vaishnavis. Dandavat pranams. So we are starting today chapter 30, Madhura-rasa, Vatsalya and Madhura-rasa. Right? The discussions of the Vibhav, Anubhav, Sanchari, and Sattvic Bhavs of Madhura-rasa and Vatsalya-rasa. So we heard Vijay and Brajanath. They heard from Babaji Maharaj about Santa, Dasya, and Sakya. Okay, so just little clarification. It had previously mentioned the four Kumaras in Shantaras. So why it mentions the four, next chapter mentioned the four Kumaras, also one of the different devotees of Dasya, because Santa also have a little touch of Dasya, no? Like their four Kumaras also performing like Shravan Kirtan, meditation, this also like one touch of Dasya. And also Narad Muni, I just said Nanda Baba was also in Dasya. So Nanda Baba's mood is called Unat Garbhadas. Means he's Dasyaras, but he's touching. His Dasyaras always going towards Vatsalya. Okay. Braj, we hear there's no pure Dasyaras. It's mixed with the other rasas. So that way we can reconcile. So Vijay and Brajanath, next day they came. They took darshan of the Samadhi of Haridas Thakur there. Also they saw Gopinath there at Ayatota, the deity that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu personally manifested from the sand and gave to Sri Gadadhar Pandit. Then they came again to Gopal Guru Goswami's lotus feet. But first they discussed so much with Dhyan Chandra, some Harikatha. Then, hearing that conversation, Gopal Guru Goswami came out. Then Brajanath asked about Vatsalya Bhakti Ras. Okay. So in Vatsalya Ras, Gopal Guru Goswami continued. The Visaya Lamban is Krishna, he's the object of course, and the Gurujan, the all elders of Krishna. They're the Asraya Lamban, the abode of this parental feeling for Krishna. Which type of Krishna? He is very beautiful, with dark limbs. He has many auspicious symptoms. His behavior is very gentle. His speech is sweet. He is simple and bashful and modest. He is respectful towards his elders. He is very generous. Okay, so these are all the qualities of a charming child. Of all the devotees, Brajashri, Yasoda, and Nanda Maharaj are the most prominent. Others are Rohini, right, the mother of Balaram, and other elderly gopis, right? Krishna has so many uncles and aunts, like Devaki, Kunti, Basudev, Sandipani Rishi, and others. The Udipans, the stimulus for Ras, are Krishna's ages, such as Kumar, his beauty, his dress, his childhood, his restlessness, his sweet words, and his laughter, and his pastimes. What are the Anubhavs? Right? The physical symptoms of that. Anubhavs in Vatsalya Rasa are smelling Krishna's head, touching him under the chin, right? Offering him blessings, giving him orders. Oh Krishna, bring this, Krishna, bring that. protecting him, nurturing him, giving him good instructions. They're the ordinary anubhavs of this ras, but there's some special extra ones which are only in Vatsalya, like milk dropping from the breasts. Okay. Okay. Sorry, that's a sattvic transformation. So there are all the 8 asta-sattvic symptoms appear in this ras, as well as the additional one of milk flowing from the breast. So there are 9 sattvic vicars in this ras. Tell me about the abhachari bhavs, the temporary moods which arise in the devotee's heart. Okay, the same Vyabhachari bhavs that we described for in Dasiras are there, as well as fainting. Right? When Putana took Madhya soda, then she fainted. Okay. What is the sthai bhav of this ras? The sthai bhav is the rati with the feelings of benevolence and kindness to Krishna, which is devoid of reverence, in Braj at least. Okay? So, this ras, this sthai bhav of this ras, right, first it begins with rati, then it matures to go to sneha and the platform of rag. Right? Just like sugarcane juice, you condense it, it becomes good. You more condense it, it becomes like sugar. In the same way, that rati condenses to the stage of rag. Baladev has a mixture of dasiras, also Vatsalya. Right? Maharaj Yudhisthira, his Vatsalya is mixed with Dasya and Sakya. Ugrasen's Priti Ras is a combination of Vatsalya. Right? Ugrasen's Dasya Ras is a combination of Vatsalya and Sakya Ras also. While Nakul, Sahadev and Narad have a mixture of Sakya and Dasya Ras. Okay. As do Garuda, Shiva and Uddhav. Okay, they have a mix of Dasya and Sakya Ras. Brajanath said, I have understood Vatsalya Ras. I want to hear the ultimate mellow Madhura Ras. We will become blessed just to hear about it. Okay, so Madhura Bhakti Ras has been called the Mukhya Bhakti Ras, the main, because in one sense, because it's the source of all others, and all other feelings are present within Madhura Ras. Okay, the jiva, the jiva conditioned soul has taken shelter of mundane ras. When his intelligence becomes dedicated to Ishvara, he naturally develops detachment. But even then, detachment is not enough. Right? Because remember we talked before about the qualification for entering into ras. So only detachment is not enough. One has to be able to access the sentiments of the soul, the Gata Samskar, and with them mix the 4 ingredients of ras. So it's very high. So simple detachment is not enough qualification. Also the nature of Madhura Ras is very difficult to understand. So candidates for Madhura Ras are very rare. Okay. Brajana said, Prabhu, I am a follower of Subal. So I'm sure you will consider my eligibility when you discuss such things. Goswami says, definitely. But the Priyanama Sakhas are also eligible for Sringha Ras to some degree. Right? Again and again the same point coming. Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj's Priyanama Sakha, he is Sakya Ras, but also he has eligibility for Madhura Ras to some degree when necessary for seva of Radha Krishna. I will say nothing unsuitable, like Gurudev, whenever he talked about the mood of Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj, very careful way he described it, just like Gopal Guru Goswami, not describe anything unsuitable. Okay, what are the alambans for this ras? Okay, the Visaya and Ashraya alamban and the Uddapans. Krishna is the Visaya Lamban. Which Krishna? Right, Krishna is one, but his Rasik Shekha. Krishna have the ability to taste and reciprocate with all rasas. So what is the Visaya? How is Krishna in Madhura-ras? He is possessed of unsurpassed beauty. He is expert in all pastimes. And the Asraya Lamban of this ras are the gopis of Braj. Amongst them, Srimati Radhika is the best. The Udipans of this ras are Krishna's Murali, right? The sound of Krishna's flute that cultivates the feelings of Madhura-ras, both in Krishna and the gopis. Okay. The Anubhavs of this ras, including casting sidelong glances and smiling. All the sattvic bhavs manifest in Madhura-ras, as do all the Vyabhachari bhavs, with the exception of laziness and fierceness. What is the nature of the sthai bhav? Okay. Okay. Madhurati becomes Madhura Bhakti Ras when it's nourished by the appropriate ingredients, vibhavs, etc. of one's Atma. The Rati for Radha Madhav is not subject to any obstruction through the influence of compatible or incompatible bhavs. How many types are there? There are two types of Madhura-ras: that experienced in meeting, sambhog, and that experienced in separation, vipralamba. There are three types of vipralamba, separation: purvarag, man, and pravas. Some places say four, but three is given here. Purvarag means heard about Krishna, heard his flute, heard his name, something, but not met yet. Example of Purvarag is Venugit. The gopi is discussing the influence of the sound of Krishna's flute. So, some contact but not met yet. So that is one separation. Man and pravas. Man means angry mood. Krishna may be there, but some angry with him, so cannot meet. And pravas, Krishna has gone to a distant place. Okay, and what is sambhog? Sambhog is meeting, when two lovers meet. Okay, but we'll not speak more about that now because Brajanath, the Sakha, is there. Okay, so we'll hear about this later. Afterwards, Vijay thinks, oh, let Brajanath be absorbed in Sakharas. My Gurudev not too much deeply talked about Madhura-ras. So afterwards he goes and asks privately from Gopal Guru Goswami. So we will hear all these things later. So how do the seven Gauni rasas function in Madhura-ras? There are seven Gauni rasas of laughter, astonishment, chivalry, karuna, anger, fear, and disgust. When they appear powerful and take the place of the Mukhi ras, they appear as separate individual rasas. Ready? We described already, like when a king asks his friend, you sit on my throne, and the king goes to another seat. No? For a moment it looks like that friend has become king, but the friend knows, I'm not the king, I'm just friend. So sometimes the Mukhi ras recedes, and the Gauni ras takes prominent and acts like the Mukhi ras. That time the Gauni rasas act, right? They appear as separate individual rasas. When they act as independent rasas in this way, they become the sthai bhav. And when they are nourished by the appropriate ingredients, they become ras. For example, sometimes the gopis laugh, they make some joke at Krishna, they laugh. That time they all become absorbed in laughter so much, it looks like the gopis become the deities of Hasiras, and Madhura-ras has gone somewhere in the background. Okay, this is example how the Gauni rasas become prominent. Actually, only the five Mukhi rasas, Santa, Dasa, Sakya, Vatsalya, Madhura are ras, and the seven Gauni rasas are actually generally included within the category of Vyabhachari bhavs. So finally Bhaktivinoda Thakur clarifies it. No? Vyabhachari means they come and go and merge back in the ocean of Sthai bhav. No? But because sometimes they can act independently, they're also given the category of a ras, but Gauna ras. But Bhaktivinoda Thakur makes it easy for us. Practically speaking, they're like Vyabhachari bhavs. Okay, now this next section, it's mentioned here. Also, if you go to Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu Bindu, there's a nice chart which describe which moods are compatible, which moods are neutral, and which moods clash. Okay, so if there's clashing of different moods, that will be 3 types of rasabhas. So anyway, at your own leisure, you can study that list. Okay. So Goswami says, I will now explain the different rasas, how they're mutually compatible, neutral, or incompatible. Actually, neutral is not mentioned here, but Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur gives, in his list, he gives also neutral. Means not compatible, not incompatible, like no difference. Okay, you can read that list at your own pleasure. So Dasya, Vibhats, disgust, and chivalry, and Adbhut are all compatible with Shantaras. Okay. Adbhut, astonishment, is compatible with Dasya, Sakya, Vatsalya, and Madhura. So Adbhut is compatible with all rasas, astonishment, because ras means chamatkar, astonishment. Shanta, incompatible with Madhura ras, with Yud, Vir, Rodra, and Bhayanik. Shanta means neutral, right? In Madhura ras, there can be no neutrality, right? If you're fighting someone, you can't be neutral, have to be angry. Anger should be there, right? Self-explanatory. You can't be angry at someone and peaceful and calm at the same time. And fear. So Shanta is incompatible with all these feelings. Dasya is compatible with disgust, Shant, Vira, and incompatible with Madhura. You can't be a servant and a beloved at the same time. Yud, you can't be a servant with someone and fight with them. And anger, you can't be a servant to be angry. So Dasya Rasa is incompatible with these feelings, is compatible with some and incompatible with others. Sakya is compatible with Madhurya, Hasya, and Yud, and Bira. Right, like Krishna wrestles with his friends. At time Krishna boasts, I am very powerful, I am very strong. Sridham also boasts, I am more strong than you, I will pound you, like this. So this one type Veer, heroic mood. So this is compatible with Sakyaras because they are like joking. Okay, so Sakya is compatible with Madhurya, Hasya, and Yud. And Sakya is incompatible with Vatsalya, Vibhats, Rodra, anger, and fear. Okay, do we have to go through them all? Vatsalya is compatible with laughter, mercy, and fear. Right? When some demon comes, Mother sort of feels fear. This is okay for a mother to feel. But Vatsalya is incompatible with Madhurya, Vira, Das, and Rodra, anger. Madhurya is compatible with laughter and friendship, and incompatible with parenthood, Vibhatsa, fear, neutral mood, anger, and Vibhats, disgust. Okay. Hasya is compatible with Vibhatsa, disgust, Madhura Rasa, and Vatsalya. Anyway, the whole list you can read yourself, no? If we just hear like this, it'd go in one ear and out the other, no? But by this you can get some understanding of which mood is compatible for which mood, and which mood is incompatible. Okay. So he describes later. And also Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, 3 types of clashing moods. Okay, the remaining combinations are all mutually neutral to Tasta. So all other combinations of moods are neutral, neither favorable or unfavorable. Please describe the results of the combinations. Okay. When the combination of Anga and Angiras, right? We explain this. Angi means the main ras and Anga means a supplementary or assistant mood. Okay? So when the two moods are favorable, but the combination is good, okay. Okay, and when the main Angi is complementary or favorable to the Anga, that time it's called a Mitra, a friend. Okay? So tell me the difference between Anga and Angi. When any ras, whether Mukhi or Gona, dominates the other ras and becomes prominent, it is called Angi. Angi means body, right? And the ras which nourishes that Angi ras and plays the role of a temporary sanchari bhav, that is called Anga. Anga means limb, and Angi means body. No? The limb assists the body. You can understand like that. The Anga is always assistant of the Angidas. Angidas may be Mukhya or Gonya, either. Okay. When rasas combine, you should understand that the ras whose nature is particularly prominent is the sthai ras, and the others are sanchari bhavs, like in Balaram. Okay, can you put some khichdi on my plate? Because I have to finish this, no? For example, Baladev, we heard already, he's Sakiras, but mixed with little Dasya and mixed with Vatsalya. So in that case, Baladev's main mood is Sakiras, so that is Angiras. And the other moods which come sometimes then disappear, that is like Dasya or Vatsalya, these are Angaras. Like Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj, Angidas is Sakiras, and the assistant ras which sometimes comes and goes, that is Anga, that is Madhura-rasa. Okay. So how can Gona ras be Angi? Nice question. We heard there are 5 prominent Mukhi rasas, but sometimes the Gona ras becomes prominent, becomes like a Mukhi ras. How is it possible? Okay, so Rupa Goswami describes. Okay, some quote here Bhaktivinoda Thakur has given from Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. Sometimes even a Gona ras achieves the position of Angi when it's inspired by an abundance of vibhav and has also been nourished by the Mukhi ras that usually predominates it but has now developed a contracted condition. Right? Same thing, the king now contracts himself and the mitra, the friend ras, becomes prominent. At that time the former Mukhi ras becomes Anga, hides its own splendor and nourishes the Gona ras that has become Angi. Right? Possible? Right? Like Sri Subal, for example. Subal is also Prinama Saka. So his sthai bhav is Sakiras. Right? But sometime, for example, when Radha Krishna cannot meet because Jatila is not allowing Radhika outside, that time Subal, because he looks like Radhika, he comes to Jatila, mother, I'm looking for one calf. Maybe he's entered your Goshal. Yes, you look. So Subal takes that opportunity to go into Radharani's own room, quarters, and explains Krishna's separation. That time the only way to escape is Radharani takes the cloth of Subal, no? And taking one calf to cover her womanly features, she goes outside pretending to be Subal. And Subal inside has to become a gopi. So the Manjaris dress Subal in all the ornaments of Radhika, the decorations of Radhika. And remember, Radharani's all ornaments are made of Mahabhav. That time Subal completely forget I'm Subal Saki. That time he fully think I'm Subal Saki. But this is like rare case, no? So anyway, this is some understanding. So today is the appearance of Bhagavan Bhamandev. So here, Rupa Goswami gives the example, like Bhagavan Bhamandev appeared from the womb of Aditi, no? And That means Indra became his brother because Indra also came from the womb of Aditi. So Vamandev accepted the role of younger brother to Indra, even though Vamandev is how much higher. But out of affection, he accepted the subordinate role of younger brother. And so Rupa Goswami gives us this way. In some way, sometimes the Mukhi Ras, the main Ras, becomes subordinate, and the secondary Ras becomes prominent. Okay, this doesn't mean, right, like the king gives his seat to his friend, doesn't mean the king has not become friend. In the same way, we should understand. In other words, the Mukhi Ras does not disappear as the Gauna Rasas do when they become Vyabhachari and disappear in the Mukhi Ras. Rather, the Mukhi Ras remains independently manifest, nourishing itself by these feelings, the compatible feelings which take the position of angas. Okay. Those who relish a particular ras are eternally sheltered in one specific ras, which for them remains radiant as the Angi Ras. Other rasas, even though they may be mukhya, function in the capacity of angas, then this can happen. Okay, that Anga Ras can only be accepted by the Angi Ras when it's favorable, when it nourishes the main mood, otherwise not. Okay, like we heard already, Sakya Ras and Madhura Ras don't conflict. Like your wife can also be your friend, there's no conflict there, no? Okay, so what happens, Brajanathas, what happens if two compatible moods mix? There's a nice taste, but what happens if two incompatible moods mix? Okay. Then Gopal Guru Goswami said, if you mix, for example, mango, and then you put salt in it, or, something lemon juice, for example, it becomes distasteful. When one ras is mixed with an incompatible feeling, what happens? That time it becomes tasteless. That is called rasabas, conflicting mellows. Okay, is combination of conflicting mellows always bad? So Rupa Goswami says in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, right? That's why Rupa Goswami is the Abhideya Acharya. How to change our sadhan bhakti to come to the platform of bhav, and how our bhav bhakti can take us to the platform of prema. Okay, all this sadhan Rupa Goswami has described in his writings. Therefore, any ras devotee who wants to achieve perfection has to come to the shelter of Rupa Goswami. No? That's what some people are saying, Rupanuga can only be Manjari. But our Bhakti Pragyan Kesav Goswami Maharaj said, such people who say that, they're like sahajas. All ras have the right and the pride to call themselves follower of Rupa Goswami. Okay, whether or not they touch his personal mood is not considered important, but they considered Rupanugas because they follow his teachings and his Siddhanta. Okay, you see here, same Siddhanta for the Sakya-ras devotee, same Siddhanta for the Madhura-ras devotee. The Siddhanta is the same. So how can you say the Sakya-ras devotee like Brajanath is not following Rupa Goswami when all these teachings that he's hearing are from Rupa Goswami? So, Rupa Goswami says, the combination of two incompatible rasas does not result in a bad taste under the following circumstances. One circumstance, when one established the excellence of one ras by making a comparison, that is not rasabhas, to establish the glories of something. No? And by describing the obstruction, the inferiority of another ras that is incompatible with the first, that is also not called rasabhas. Okay, it's clear. Consider this point in devotees such as Yudhisthira, Dasya and Vatsalya are manifested separately at different times. Right? Sometimes Yudhisthira Maharaj, for example, he's Krishna's servant. Other times he's like Krishna's advisor. Okay, so these mutually, normally, Right? Dasya and Vatsalya are not matching, but because they manifest at different times, there's no clash. Mutually incompatible rasas do not arise together at the same time, except in the case of Adirud Mahabhav. Right? Adirud Mahabhav means when all feelings arise at the same time. That isn't Radhika. But at that time, Radhika does not experience rasabhas. Okay, so how nicely everything reconciled here. When many contradictory rasas combine at once in a personality who is a Mahapurush, this only enhances the wondrous nature of that taste, like Yudhishthira Maharaj, for example. Rajana said, I have heard from learned and Rasik Vaishnavas that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had a very low opinion of rasabhas. He would never hear bhajans, kirtans or poetry that contained it. How many types of rasabhas are there? Okay, if anyone made any writing or poetry, that would always have to be checked by Surup Damodar Goswami. When Surup Damodar, if Surup Damodar Goswami detected some apasiddhanta, some wrong philosophical conclusions, or he detected some conflicting mellows, then he would never allow that to be recited in the presence of Lord Chaitanya. Okay? For example, when Rupa Goswami was writing, then Ramananda Roy asked him many questions to establish whether this drama that Rupa Goswami was writing was bona fide and proper. But when all devotees heard the answers of Rupa Goswami, all became astonished because all was perfectly composed. No? Therefore, Gurudev said generally we should not make our own prayers because our own prayers we will ask for something stupid or then cause disturbance to the Lord and the devotees. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu never heard anything which was improperly composed or had some faulty conclusion. So, tell me how many types of rasabhas are there? Okay, there are 3. When it is devoid of an angi, if there's no specific mood in any ras, that is called rasabhas. Okay? For example, anyway, he'll give his own examples here. So there are 3 gradations of rasabhas: Uttam, Madhyam, and Kanishta. There are also 3 types: Uparas, Anuras, and Aparas. What is Uparas? Okay. Means Uparas can also be 3 types: Kanishta, Madhyam, and Uttam, whether it's very mild or very severe case. So what is Uparas? If any of the 12 rasas beginning with Santa has a disfigured ingredient, like the Staibhav or the Vibhav or the Sanchari is disfigured, then it can be called Uparas. Uparas is caused by the disfigurement of the Staibhav, Vibhav or Anubhav. Okay, no example given there. Probably in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu Bindu, maybe there's some example there. Goswami, what is Anuras? The secondary rasas the Gauna rasas beginning with Hasiras, if not related to Krishna, are called Anuras. If Viraras and so on are manifest in neutrally disposed persons, this is also Anuras. How can a neutral person fight? Not possible. That is an example of Anuras. So any of these secondary symptoms not related to Krishna, that is Anuras. Okay. But if they arise in the heart of someone who has no relation to Krishna, they are not ras at all. For example, if it's just some guy in the street, he starts laughing, this is not called hasiras. Okay, then why is there, he asked, or someone in the street becomes angry and starts fighting, this is not called bhakti ras, right? This is just anger, or this is just heroism, or something silly. No? So this is not ras at all. This will be mundane ras. So why is there a separate division called anuras? Understand? Ras is anuras only when it has no direct relation with Krishna. For example, when the gopis saw the nose of Radharani's pet female monkey, Kakati, they laughed. Okay? Another example is when Narad Muni saw two birds in the tree fighting, arguing Vedanta. That time great astonishment, Adbhut came in his heart, Adbhut Ras. So the gopis laughing at the nose of the monkey and the Adbhut Ras arising in Narad's heart have no direct relation with Krishna. But still there's some distant relation. Of course, example, Narad's in Vrindavan, the gopis laughing at Radharani's monkey. These are examples of anuras. Okay. So there is some relation, but little distant. What is aparas? Aparas is when the opponents of Krishna manifest any of the Gaunarasas, beginning with Hasyaras, and the object of their laughter, for example, is Krishna himself. This is called aparas. For example, when Krishna ran away from the battlefield, no, because Jarasandha attacked Krishna 17 times. 17 times Krishna defeated Jarasandha's whole army, but only left Jarasandha alive. No, because he wondered, I know, next time Jarasandha will collect another army and come and fight again, so why I should go around the whole world to destroy the demons? Jarasandha will bring all the demons to me. But on the 17th time when Jarasandha, or the 18th time when Jarasandha attacked, that time another demon called, what was his name? Kalyavan. He was attacking Mathura from another direction. So Krishna now was trapped. So Krishna now was facing two enemies, so Krishna ran away. That time Jarasandha laughed. Ha, Krishna is a coward. So this is called aparas. No, because he's laughing at Krishna, but there's no feelings of like Vatsalya, no feelings of friendship, no feelings of dasya, no feelings of anything. So this is called aparas. Okay, when the Gaunarasas manifest, but no Mukhya-rasas there. This is aparas. No? So, okay. So Rupa Goswami has written, some persons refer to bhav in terms of tadabhas, a reflection of ras, a reflection of ras. And others call it rasabhas. However, learned scholars who have realized ras only use the word bhav to denote ras, that is derived from relishing transcendental ananda. Okay, so something in the demons manifest like fear, Kamsa. He fear Krishna. No, he always feel fear. But this is called, I think also I can give that an example of aparas. Fear, but no. Like Madhesada also feels fear or something when Putana takes Krishna. But that gives bliss and happiness. But Kamsa's fear of Krishna not give bliss or happiness. So this is called aparas. So when Vijay and Brajanath heard this description of Rasa Tattva, they fell at the feet of Gopal Guru Goswami and began to weep. And they spoke with voices choked in emotion, Agyan Timarandasya Gananjana Salakya Chakshuran Militam Yena Tasmai Sri Guruve Namaha. I offer pranams to Gurudev, who has lightened the torch of transcendental knowledge in my heart and dispelled the darkness of the desires for dharma, artha, karma, and moksha. Wow. So, don't think, oh, Gurudev has already taken away the ignorance. No, we still have so much left. So Gopal Guru embraced them, lifted them up and embraced them and blessed them, made his Ras Tattva manifest within your hearts. So every day Vijay and Brajanath would discuss these topics with Jan Chandra Goswami. He is the main disciple of Gopal Guru Goswami. Every day they would take Chanamrita and the remnants of Gopal Guru Goswami They saw many pure Vaishnavas doing bhajan, sometimes in their kutir and sometimes at the Samadhi of Haridas Thakur, sometimes at the temple of Gopinath, sometimes at Siddha Bakul. These are all the pastime places of Lord Chaitanya. So, right, these are all Udipan, these are all the elements of Ras. So they always have good association, always in the holy places. They also had darshan of the places mentioned in Stavavali and Stavamala, the places that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu visited in his ecstasies while he resided in Jagannath Puri. Okay. Whenever pure Vaishnavas would perform Nam Sankirtan, Vijayan Brajanath would also attend. In this way, gradually their bhajan matured. So Vijay began to think, Gopal Guru has given us shiksha about Madhura-rasa, but just a brief summary. Let Brajanath remain absorbed in Sakiras. At appropriate time I will come alone to Gopal Guru Goswami and hear his elaboration on Madhura-rasa. Okay. Thinking in this way, they attained a copy of Ujjval Nilamani. He attained a copy of Ujjval Nilamani and began to study it. Any doubts that would come in his mind, Gopal Guru Goswami would reconcile. So once at dusk, Vijay and Brajanath were returning home, strolling on the shore of the ocean. Sitting on the beach, they gazed at the waves, and they thought life is also full of unending waves, happiness and distress. No one will know what will happen next or when it will happen, right? Anything can happen to us at any time. Sometimes we get happiness, sometimes distress, sometimes good reputation, sometimes bad, sometimes we're wealthy, sometimes poor, sometimes good health, sometimes bad health. Life is like this. So I think we should immediately learn the method of Rag Mag Bhajan. I've seen the Bhajan Padati composed by Dhyan Chandra Goswami. It seems that if we study that, we could get a wonderful result. I will make a copy. They approached Dhyan Chandra Goswami to make a copy. Okay. This had Achan Padati. This had been compiled by Dhyan Chandra himself. Especially after the disappearance of Mahaprabhu, then many people began to doubt, who is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu? If Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Bhagavan, where is his Gayatri? Where is his mantra? If Nityananda is Bhagavan, where is his Gayatri? Where is his mantra? No, this is called Padati. So, Dhyan Chandra Goswami, he found all these mantras for Mahaprabhu, Rupa Goswami. Rupa Goswami has his own Gayatri and mantra. Nityananda, Srivas, all these devotees. No. So Gurudev was saying this book he will not translate. Because nature of Westerners, I don't have enough mantras. Right? Many people's brain is weak. I'm not making advancement. Maybe I need some more mantras. Or maybe this guru is not good. I should change gurus. I should get this, I should get that. But people don't understand. Guru is okay, mantra, everything is okay. You have enough, but we are not following properly, no? So there's no great need to collect more mantras or different mantras. No. So Gurudev refused to translate that. Like many people, they're doing bhajan, no, but they cannot get result quickly. They forget this takes some time, no? This takes time. Also takes so much sadhusang, so much bhajan. For anatana vritti, nishta, ruchi, asakti. We have to go through all these stages before we can reach this qualification. But people become fed up. I could not get any result. So they go to the Babajis at Radhakund, take some new guru, some new mantra. But also no result there, no? So anyway, Gurudev refused to translate this Dhyan Chandra Achan Padati for this reason. Also people would think, why Gurudev not gave me all these mantras? People would think, Guru Parampara gives what is necessary for you, Guru Parampara give that thing, no? So Vijay and Brajanath asked Dhyan Chandra, can we have a copy of that? But Dhyan Chandra would not give. Without Gurudev's permission, I cannot give you. So they approached Gopal Guru Goswami, he gave his permission. That time Gopal Guru gave his consent. Then Vijay and Brajanath made separate copies. Okay. Afterwards we hear Brajanath went back to Bengal, so in that way this book would have traveled from Vaishnav to Vaishnav. Okay. So remember, Brajanath already, many Vaishnavas already there at Shiva Sangan and Godrum, all are liberated souls. So that book definitely he would have no hesitation giving to them because they are senior than him. In this way these teachings would spread. Okay. They thought at some proper time they'd approach Gopal Guru Goswami for some more instruction. Also not that Vaishnava is like an information booth. We have to look when it's proper time to ask some question. Okay, so Dhyan Chandra was also a great scholar. He was expert in Hari Bhajan. Also he had great experience. He was the most prominent of Gopal Guru Goswami's disciples. Understanding the good qualification of Vijay and Brajanath, he instructed them. If any doubt come, they would all approach Gopal Guru Goswami. Gradually through their studies, they comprehended the daily pastimes of Lord Chaitanya, the Astakalya Bhajan of Lord Chaitanya, and gradually they commenced their service to Krishna through the eight time divisions of Krishna's eternal day, that is Astakalya Lila. So how much for this Astakalya Lila Smaran? How much need sadhusang? How much need qualification? No? Okay. Already they'd entered the stage of Bhav Bhakti. Okay, so all these things were coming to them by association gradually. Okay, so today's class is a little short. Okay, no problem because the other day's class was a little long. So please everyone read patiently again chapter 30. I'm not saying it's straightforward, but Bhaktivinoda Thakur has presented everything in a very straightforward manner. Okay, and now from chapters 31 to chapter 40, this all instructions of Gopal Guru Goswami only for Vijay. Right? Sometimes if one takes diksha from a guru who may be, for example, in Sakiras, then Guru or Dasiras or Vatsalya, Gurudev can speak all Siddhanta. No? Like already we discussed, Raghunath Das Baba in Navadvip, he's in Sakiras. But all Tattva Siddhanta he explained. Even he could give the Siddha Pranali, even for those in Madhura-rasa. So a guru may be in any ras. Diksha guru may be in any ras. No, some foolish people are saying, oh, only Madhura-rasa can be guru. This Krishna mantra and Kam Gayatri only for those in Madhura-rasa. But we find this argument is not supported in the teachings of Bhaktivinoda Thakur. Right? Because Vijay and Brajanath, one is Sakya, one is Madhura, both are the same guru, Diksha guru, same mantra, same katar, everything is same. But from the heart of one came Sakya, from the heart of another came Madhura-rasa. So the Diksha guru can be any ras. No? And he can give all Siddhanta. Like Sukadev Goswami, he is in Dasi Ras. But he spoke Ras Lila. So this is no... Diksha Guru can be in any ras. And in a general way, he can give shikshas for all rasas also. But if one wants some specific mood, very deep, then if his guru is in a lower ras and the disciple is in a higher ras, he will not change his guru. He will just approach a qualified shiksha guru and take instruction from there. No need to reject the Diksha Guru or change guru or anything like that. The example in our sampradaya is Dukhi Krishnadas. No? Afterwards he became Shyamananda. Right? And his Diksha Guru was Hridaya Chaitanya. But afterwards he took shiksha from Jiva Goswami because Hridaya Chaitanya was in Sakiras. Shyamananda Guru himself was in Sringharas, Madhura-rasa. So his Diksha Guru, he kept the same mantra, everything. But for shiksha he came to Jiva Goswami. In this way everything is reconciled. The relationship between the different rasas, the relationship between Diksha and Shiksha Guru. No difference between Diksha and Shiksha Guru. Diksha is one form of Krishna, the Rupa of Krishna, and Shiksha Guru is one Swarup. He is one nature of Krishna. So afterwards, no, because Brajanath is Sakyaras, so Vijay he went separately from Gurudev, and he would ask all the details of Madhura-rasa. What are the vibhavs? What are all these things, the different ingredients, the different udipans, all these things we're hearing. So really wonderful discussions. So chapter 31 to chapter 40, these exclusive discussions between Vijay and Gopal Guru Goswami. Okay, just quickly, today is Brahman Dwadasi. So what do we do? Because today is Brahman Deva's appearance of Vishnu Tattva. Normally one should fast on the appearance of Vishnu Tattva, but what can we do? Yesterday was Ekadasi. We do not break our fast. There will be some disturbance in our following of Ekadasi. Your Ekadasi will be incomplete, then your Bhakti will be destroyed. So what we do, on the Ekadasi day we fast, and the next day before breaking fast we should worship Bhagavan Bhamandev. So just quickly, I would like to speak 10 minutes about his pastime. Bhamandev is a Lila avatar. Okay, he is Krishna himself, Keshava-dhrita Dasavidarupa. Jayadev Goswami said Krishna himself, Keshav, has himself become these 10 incarnations, of which one of these Dasavatars is Bhamandev. So, Bali Maharaj, he was great Vaishnav, right? Because his grandfather was also Mahabhagavat Prahlad Maharaj. Okay? So, and anyone who appears in the dynasty of Mahabhagavat, they will also get so much mercy of the Lord. So Bali Maharaj, he is born in a demon dynasty because he's the grandson of Prahlad. And his guru is Sukracharya. So the demons very carefully and very respectfully worship their guru, Sukracharya. As a result, Bali Maharaj became immensely powerful and captured the whole universe from the control of the demigods. Also, the demigods had made a mistake because of pride. They had neglected their guru Brihaspati. So the demigods became weak and the demons become strong. No? Just like waves in an ocean, sometimes the demons are prominent, sometimes the devas are prominent. That is the nature of this world. We should not become disturbed by it. So the demigods became very sad. So they approached Brahma, and Brahma took them to Vishnu. Vishnu said, I will come and take away the opulence of Bali Maharaj and re-establish the demigods in their proper position. So to give mercy to Bali Maharaj, to give mercy to the demigods also, Bhamandev appeared from the womb of Indra's mother, Aditi. But he appeared in a very wonderful form, a dwarf form. So when we think of dwarf, we have some picture in our mind, no? But Bhamandev was not like that. Very handsome, supremely charming. So he appeared in the Brahman form, no? Because his father was, is it Kasyap Rishi? If I'm not mistaken, Brahman. So Brahmins should maintain themselves by begging. Therefore all the demigods came and gave different gifts to Bhamandev. Some gave him a kopin, some gave him an umbrella, some gave him begging bag, some demigods gave shoes like this, some gave earrings, all gave some different presentation. And Bhamandev went to beg at the yagyashala of Bali Maharaj. Bali Maharaj was doing huge yagyas. No? So any religious performance without the distribution of donation, this is considered tamasic. So Bali Maharaj was giving donations to all the brahmanas and priests who had come to the yagya, as well as just ordinary poor persons. So he was giving charity like the rain clouds. That time Bhamandev came, but nobody could understand this is Vishnu. So when Bhamandev entered the assembly like an effulgence, then Bali Maharaj stood up. He became astonished. Who is this Brahmin who is effulgent like millions of suns? Welcome, welcome. Please, how can I give you charity? What would you like? Anything you ask from me, I will give. No? And one who asks from me never has to ask from a second person. Means I will give you so much charity, your whole life you'll be satisfied. So Bhamandev, actually first Bhamandev not said anything. So again and again, Bali Maharaj, what do you want? Maybe you're shy to say, do you want a Brahmin wife? Do you want gold? Do you want villages? Do you want cities? Do you want my kingdom? But Bali Maharaj remained silent, and finally Bali Maharaj, Bhamandev said, sorry, O king, I am not a greedy person, I am brahmachari, so just give me 3 steps of land. That time Bali Maharaj laughed. Oh Maharaj, because you are small, maybe your intelligence is small. No need to, no, you should take some proper donation. But again and again he pressed, but Bhamandev said, no, only one person is happy in this world, a person who is satisfied with what he has. That person is happy. I have no desires for anything else, but give me 3 steps of land, but promise me you'll give me 3 steps of land. You have to take sankalpa. Sankalpa means vow. Like when we take Diksha, we take sankalpa. I vow to follow Gurudev, I vow to follow all these rules and regulations. Sankalpa can never be broken. So then Bali Maharaj became astonished. What is this? I gave mountains of gold and jewels and land and cows. No one asked me to take a sankalpa. And this Brahmin is asking me to make a strong promise for only 3 steps of land. But finally he agreed, and when he was about to take this vow, then Bali Maharaj's guru, Sukracharya, said, don't do it. You don't know who is this Brahmin. He's not some Brahmin, this is Vishnu, who has come to take away everything you possess. So Sukracharya, also a great personality. In Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, of intelligent persons, I am Sukra. So Sukracharya, not some ordinary person. He knew this is Vishnu. He knows who is Vishnu also. Because out of parental affection for his disciple, he forbade, don't promise him anything. And he used some niti, it's called niti, means some logic and argument. You say, oh, now it's 5 o'clock, no more charity now. Or you give some excuse like that, because it's not a sin to lie to save one's life, to save one's livelihood. It's no sin. So you tell a little lie, no more charity today. Something like that you said. But Bali Maharaj, also he is Vaishnava. He is one of the 9 Mahaja. He is one of the 12 Mahajans. So he is Vishnu Bhakta. So he became astonished. What is this? Vishnu is begging from me. This is my glories. Who is Bali Maharaj? Oh, Brahman, Bhagavan himself begged from him donation. This is my glories. After all, if Vishnu want to take something from me, with one slap he take. So he is begging from me. This is my glories. So he ignored the words of Sukracharya. I promise I will give 3 steps of land. Sukracharya cursed him. I curse you, you'll lose everything. But Bali did not become disturbed. So when he promised I will give you 3 steps of land, then Brahman smiled. He became Trivikram, huge. With his first step, he took to the top planetary system of Brahma. With his second footstep, he took to the bottom of the planetary system. Means with 2 steps, he took the whole universe. Then he said, Bali, you are a cheater, a liar. You promised me 3 steps, but with 2 steps, I have taken everything. You are dishonest, you are a crook, like this. Very bad words he spoke to Bali Maharaj. But Bali Maharaj so patient, because Vaishnava devotee have all qualities, no? So he tolerated, he not become angry, he not become disturbed. No? He thought, I gave everything to Bhagavan, why he's not satisfied? Oh, one thing I did not give myself. So he said, Oh Prabhu, you keep your 3rd step on my head. In this way he offered himself fully to Bhagavan. In this way he became known as great Mahajan. So he satisfied Bhagavan Bhamandev. No? And Bhamandev so much satisfied. He said, Oh Bali Maharaj, I give you a benediction. No need this heavenly planet. Swarga I give you, I think Rasatal. The opulence of the lower planetary systems is 100 times even greater than the heavenly planets of the demigods. So I give you that whole Rasatal, that is your abode. You go and reside there with your family members. Oh, okay. And I give you a benediction. What benediction you want? Then he said, I want the benediction, you come with me. And you come as my gatekeeper. So Guru Maharaj would describe Bali Maharaj's palace has 64 entrances. And Bhamandev taking a form there like a guard. Right? So whichever direction he looks, then Bali Maharaj can see his Ishtadev Vishnu. So very sweet exchanges there. One time Ravan came to fight with Bali, but Bhamandev gave him the boot. So he is still there now. So this is wonderful exchange of loving affection. Therefore, Bali Maharaj, even though he's demon, he is Param Vaishnava, Mahabhagavat. He is also one of the Acharyas, 9 limbs of devotion. So one of them is Atmanavedanakya Bhakti, the limb of devotion of giving everything you think is I and mine, surrendering that to Bhagavan. That means Atmanavedan. And the Acharya, the Guru of that type of Bhakti is Bali Maharaj. So we should, before taking Padan, we should little worship Bhagavan, and then satisfying him, then we take our khichdi. Now I have to go because my khichdi is waiting there already. Vancha kalpa chudascha kripasindhu bheva patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Hare Krishna.